On the third day of September, 2008, we have three items, right, Madam Clerk? And let's take item number 3 first. Is anyone here to speak on item number 3, which is the city attorney's request to prepare and present an ordinance requiring change restaurants with 15 or more outlets to provide basic nutritional information on menus and menu cards, menu boards? Madam City Attorney, we're going to send this forward and ask that they come forth with an ordinance. Any comments?
Not at this time.
No comments? All right. And anybody want to speak on item number 3? Okay, so we'll move that to approval. Okay, now let's take item 2 and 1 together, but we'll vote on them separately. I know some people have filled out cards and want to speak. How many people want to speak here today? Good, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All righty.
4 cards.
Good. We have 4 cards, 5 cards right here, 5 cards. Okay, when I have 5 cards, I do 1-minute comments. If you need more time, you could speak, but we want to try to be concise. I am been called to another meeting at the same hour, so we'll go ahead. If any speaker has any need to discuss anything longer, I'm flexible. Hey, how are you? Okay, item number 1, please.
And item number 1 is the city attorney report and the ordinance relative to amending the LA Municipal Code to prohibit smoking in city-permitted farmers markets.
Great, okay. Let's see, I want to know who would like this. Anybody here in opposition to it? Why don't you speak first? The loyal opposition? Mr. Perlman, recognize you from... Yeah, right there.
Councilman, mine's about 2.5 minutes.
Go ahead, that's all right.
My name is Rich Perlman, and I'm here today to oppose the proposed unnecessary ordinances against smoking at farmers markets and in outdoor dining sections of restaurants. And I'm urging the committee to reject these proposals as unnecessary because they pose no threat to public health and serve only to demonize smokers. In the U.S. Surgeon General's 727-page report about the consequences of involuntary smoking, which was disseminated in 2006, no recommendations were made about outdoor smoking restrictions. In fact, there's less than a single page in the entire report dealing with outdoor smoking. That report was concerned solely with the impact of indoor smoking, and there are no studies which demonstrate that transient encounters with outdoor smoking create any kind of health hazard. Now, because there's no health threat in these outdoor settings, I submit to you that the city already has an ordinance that deals with these issues in section 41.16 of the Municipal Code.
Keep going.
Which says, no person shall throw, blow, or otherwise scatter on any street, sidewalk, restaurant, cafe, theater, place of amusement, or other public place any snuff or any substance which injuriously affects the olfactory nerves or which causes sneezing or coughing or otherwise injuriously affects the person. That ordinance has been in effect since 1936. While it is today fashionable to ban smoking almost everywhere, the proposed ordinance does not address a public health issue and will do nothing to reduce the incidence of smoking in Los Angeles. It does subject smokers, a minority in this community, to additional ridicule for consuming illegal product. If the city was serious about trying to reduce smoking using farmers markets or outdoor restaurant settings, it could be promoting smokers' help programs in these locations. And if the city wishes to remove smokers from public view, then it should create a place where smokers can go out of public view, and no one will see them. For the city to simply continue to ban smoking and then hope it will not have to enforce many violations is, in my view, bad policy and would make a bad law. I thank you.
Mr. Perlman, thank you very much. Thank you for what you did in 1984 as well. I thought of you and others. Now, Mr. Perlman was involved with the 84 Olympic Games, so in a support role. There's Ms. Hahn. She is disqualified for being late to committee, but we always give her a gold medal when she shows up. Thank you very much. Ms. Perry just showed up as well. Let's give them both a big hand. My colleagues right here. All right.
What do I get?
How are you? You get a great gold medal, double gold medal.
Great.
Okay, let's have some speakers on the other side, if we could here. And by the way, Ms. Hahn, Ms.
Yes?
Perry, we did approve the ordinance request of the city attorney for chain restaurants to post nutritional information.
Oh,
So that
All
has
right,
been
what
approved.
item was that?
Item number 3.
Oh.
We didn't want to hesitate on that.
you already went to 3.
I did. I go 3, 2, 1. That's all.
Oh, okay.
We're all here.
Okay, you want to, yeah, we'll vote it again.
All right.
Madam Clerk, we recall that?
Number 3.
All right. Marlene Gomez, take a seat, please. Patricia Park, take a seat, please. Monty
And did you talk
Masek,
about Alex Padilla's bill on 3?
Ashley Lopez, want to take a seat? We'll take that.
And for clarification, we're going to reconsider item number 3.
Right, we'll
And-
consider number 3. Sit down and make yourself comfortable.
Okay, and item number 3 has been approved by the committee.
Oh, wow.
Great, okay, good. Thank you very much. Hi, Ms. Park, why don't you start?
Alex Padilla's law. and-
Hi, my name is Patricia Park, and I'm here on behalf of Councilmember Wendy Gruels in support of the ordinance, and would like to read a letter on her behalf. Today, the city's Arts, Parks, Health, and Aging Committee is discussing the city attorney's ordinance to restrict smoking in the city's farmers markets. I'd like to express my full support in favor of strengthening our anti-smoking ordinances and thereby reducing the spread of illnesses caused by secondhand smoke. It is our obligation to ensure that the many families who attend farmers markets enjoy a safe and healthy environment. Secondhand smoke kills approximately 38,000 non-smokers each year. Secondhand smoke exposure causes an estimated 300,000 children under the age of 18 months to suffer lower respiratory tract infections, including bronchitis and pneumonia. Secondhand smoke exacerbates child asthma and increases the risk of acute, chronic, and middle-year infections in children. The Environmental Protection Agency has classified secondhand smoke at a Group A carcinogen, the most dangerous class of carcinogens. It is our duty to protect public health by limiting the exposure of our residents, particularly the children, to the dangers of secondhand smoke. I'm proud to acknowledge the great strides our city has made to regulate smoking in public places. We have successfully restricted smoking in restaurants, on beaches, in offices, and playgrounds. As the representative of the Second Council District, as a concerned resident of Los Angeles, and as a mother, I am honored to be supporting our efforts to restrict smoking in farmers market. I look forward to continuing our effort with the committee and the organizations presenting at today's meeting and the entire city family to protect the health of our city.
Thank you very much. As a member of council, representative councilperson, we give the extended time there. We're going to a 1-minute clock. If you need a little more, take it. But thank you, Ms. Park, for that. You can present that to the clerk.
Councilmember Labange, Perry, and Hahn.
Reintroduce yourself, just for the record.
My name is Monty Messick. I'm the Deputy Director of the LA County Tobacco Control and Prevention Program.
And your dog once did what?
It bit you.
Right. I was walking to become a councilman, knocked on his door, and I got their vote, but I got bit by their dog. So.
Yeah, Coco's since passed away, and she, this is eating into my minute.
No. Hold the clock there.
And I want to
Monty.
thank you for not reporting us.
You betcha. You betcha.
What a story.
Labrador. Okay.
Okay, Monty Messick with the LA County Tobacco Control and Prevention Program. Councilmember Labange, Perry, and Hahn, thank you for this opportunity to speak. Briefly, I just wanted to say that if the council adopts the policy on smoke-free farmers markets, my office is here to offer assistance in implementing that policy in terms of education to the farmers markets. And also I wanted to present some data from the 2005 LA County Health Survey. It's a random digit dial survey that's scientifically valid. It represents the county residents, all county residents, adults. Almost 86% of Los Angeles County adults are non-smokers. According to the 2005 LA County Health Survey, 69% of Los Angeles County adults agree there should be more restriction on smoking in outdoor public places such as parks, beaches, and outdoor dining areas. The LA County Health Survey also shows that 97% of Los Angeles County adults agree that inhaling secondhand smoke from someone else's cigarette is harmful to the health of babies and children. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Chair Labange and Councilmember, and also Council Members Perry and Hahn. My name is Alicia Lopez, and I am Chair of the Coalition for Tobacco-Free Los Angeles County, which is comprised of over 70 agencies consisting of various community-based organizations and nonprofit agencies. I wanted to applaud LA City's leadership on the Smoke-Free Farmers Market ordinance on the agenda today, which will protect farmers markets patrons and workers from harmful secondhand smoke exposure. The coalition supports policies that limit exposure to secondhand smoke, as there is no safe level of exposure to humans. Also, the coalition supports item 2 on the agenda, which prohibits smoking in outdoor dining areas and within 5 feet of such areas. As aforementioned, restaurant patrons, especially families with children, will be spared the harmful exposure to the deemed California Air Resources Board toxic air contaminant secondhand smoke. Again, the coalition applauds LA City's leadership with these great strides towards better public health and looks forward to a healthier Los Angeles. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Marlene Gomez. I am the Associate Director of SAFE, of Smoke Free Air for Everyone, and I'll be very, very brief. First of all, farmers markets is obviously an area where people go to purchase things to make their health better. And so if there is smoking there, it obviously kind of defeats the point. I have an 8-year-old. I've been to a number of different farmers markets, and if someone is smoking, it definitely kind of just ruins the whole environment. So we applaud this committee as well as the city for taking the leadership to protect both LA City residents and anyone else who comes to visit our farmers markets for protecting us from secondhand smoke. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to call the next set of speakers. If they would please come up. David Ross, Robert Berger? Berger, excuse me. I'm sorry, Bob. I apologize. That your glasses threw me off. Esther Schiller and Erica Halachek.
I'm Dave Ross, the chairman of the board of the American Heart Association in Los Angeles County. And as you can imagine, the Heart Association feels passionately about this cause. But I want to also talk to you just for a second as just a private citizen. I think that there are some issues in which, rather than struggling to figure out how to balance competing interests, policymakers have to figure out whether there's a value inherent in the issue that needs to be fought for almost regardless. And when it comes to cleaner air, public health, just like human rights or global warming, there's value, I think, in taking a position that says we need to make as much progress here as possible. In my case, my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer at 46. He died at 47. My mom was diagnosed at age 60, died at 61. And they started smoking as teenagers in Los Angeles here. And once you've seen the day-to-day deterioration of somebody who gets diagnosed with lung cancer, it stays with you the rest of your life. So anything that the City Council and this committee can do to help remove the risk, the danger of secondhand smoke from the public would be greatly appreciated. Thank
you very much. God bless your parents.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Berger, and I'm a 21-year resident of the 4th District and a business owner in Los Angeles. The California Air Resources Board monitored outdoor nicotine levels in a range of settings and found that some of the highest monitoring results outdoors were comparable to those found in smokers' homes. A Stanford study and University of Waterloo, Canada study also proved the high level that exposure in close proximity to smokers on outdoor patios represented risks that were as high or higher than they are indoors. The Surgeon General said there's no safe level exposure to secondhand smoke. Smoking's at an all-time low, and it's time for non-smokers to reclaim outdoor dining patios. Why should we have to go indoors for a breath of fresh air? These are trends that are happening not only locally in cities like Santa Monica and Beverly Hills, but globally, the city of Vancouver, the state of Hawaii, Seattle, New Mexico. It's a trend now that's global in nature. For those that are concerned that an outdoor dining ban would hurt business, I would point to a Beverly Hills staff report that says that their fresh air dining ordinance has, and this is a quote, that Beverly Hills smoke-free outdoor dining ordinance has been embraced by the public and business alike, producing lasting benefits for workers, patrons, and the businesses themselves. With the elimination of secondhand smoke, a healthier and more pleasant environment is created, maximizing the enjoyment of the dining experience in Beverly Hills. So these policies are working. The public wants them. It is, yes, it is going to be harder for smokers to continue their deadly habit, but that, we feel, is a small price to pay for the greater good. Thank you.
Esther Schiller, Executive Director of SAFE, which stands for Smoke Free for Everyone. People who have chronic illnesses like asthma, heart disease, people who are aging, especially need to be protected from tobacco smoke. We would like to be able to sit outside on a nice LA day and enjoy the weather and enjoy a dining experience. Surveys that we've been conducting in LA of apartment residents show that 90 to 95% agree tobacco smoke is harmful, and they'd like to be protected from it. An ordinance that bans smoking in outdoor dining would be a great way to begin, because that's where you'd find the children and the elderly. Another suggestion, and this is an off-the-wall suggestion, a majority of the people who smoke want to quit. How about requiring these outdoor areas that will still permit smoking to provide brochures about the 1-800-NO-BUTTS program that we have here in California, which is a telephone program that helps people to quit.
Thank you. Erica.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Erica Halchek. I'm an intern and volunteer with the American Lung Association and a second-year master's in public health student at UCLA. I am here today to speak on behalf of supporting the motion to ban smoking in farmers markets in Los Angeles, and also to pass to write the ordinance that prohibits smoking in all outdoor dining areas and bars. There are 69 cancer-causing agents in secondhand smoke, which are unwillingly inhaled by non-smokers, can linger in the air for hours after a cigarette has been extinguished, and can cause or aggravate a wide range of adverse health effects, including cancer, respiratory infections, and asthma. Many restaurants may speak about losing business. However, if 86% of adults in LA County don't smoke, then that's the minority. In Santa Monica, a 2004 survey showed that 88% of customers prefer smoke-free outdoor dining. And as been previously mentioned, many cities in California have passed these ordinances already, and their businesses are thriving. So the American Lung Association of California wants to keep this from happening and urges you to adopt an ordinance that stops the exposure of non-smokers to poisonous secondhand smoke through outdoor dining, and also for the smoke-free farmers market.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else want to speak? Because these are all the cards I have. Mr. Lee, you're here representing Mr. Smith. I'm going to call on you as a fine deputy.
Hi, John Lee from Councilman Smith's office. We obviously are here in support of Councilman Smith's motion to prohibit smoking in outdoor dining areas. The numbers show that a small population of adults are still smokers, and we don't think that the rest of the population should have to not be able to enjoy a fine Southern California day and enjoy dining outdoors, to allow the smaller population to indulge in their habit that affects all of us. So we're just here to lend our support and hope that ask the city attorney to present this ordinance.
And Mr. Smith's motion is to prepare and present an ordinance to prohibit smoking in an outdoor dining area within 5 feet of an area. So that would mean if you're sitting there, I could smoke here, but you're more than 5 feet away.
As long as it's not within the dining area and 5 feet from the dining area, correct.
So let's see, you're the dining area right now. You have, see that little piece of paper?
Right.
That's the blue plate special.
Okay.
Okay, so you're eating, and then this is about
10 feet?
9.5 feet. Right to here? Okay. Could I smoke here?
As long as it wasn't in the dining area.
As long as it's not in the dining area or 5 feet, correct. Yes.
I'm outside.
Yes, I can't, I don't know if we can regulate,
You mean you can't sit down anywhere, like at Patty's on Toluca Lake and Riverside Drive, they have an outdoor area, nowhere you would propose to smoke.
Exactly, correct.
But if you were on the sidewalk 9 feet from there.
Right.
Then you would be.
And the wind wasn't blowing to the northwest. Okay, thank you.
That's correct.
Anyone else want to speak? Okay, let's take item number 1 up first, farmers markets. Okay. Madam City Attorney, could you prepare amending the ordinance to prohibit smoking at certified farmers markets? Now, when we say farmers markets, we're talking about the farmers markets that get permits, that do farmers market sales in city streets?
Yes, and I'm going to turn this over to David Schulman in our office.
Mr. Schulman, the expert in this. Thank you, David.
Councilmember Labange, Perry, Hahn. David Schulman with the LA City Attorney's Office. We took the definition of city permitted farmers markets out of LAMC Section 12, so it incorporates that definition and to restrict smoking in those areas.
Right, so this would be those on Griff Park Boulevard and Wilmington and wherever there's a farmer's
Right.
market in the city streets, this would regulate that.
That's correct, a city permitted farmers market.
If it's a city permitted farmer's market.
City's permitted.
That's correct.
And do we, if they are on a street in the city, then we would have had to have permitted them, right?
Correct.
Even if they're contracted through the chamber or
Did they get a permission?
there's
to use-
private operators, if they're on one of our streets, and that's considered, we permitted them. Is that correct?
I would hope so.
Can I just, I'm certainly totally in favor of this. Again, the comment that most people who shop at farmers markets are there to try to improve their healthy choices, and it just seems sort of ironic that they would be breathing secondhand smoke while they're trying to improve, their health by choosing, these kinds of fruits and vegetables. My question is, how are we planning to enforce this? Is LAPD going to have the smoking squad have extra resources? Are they going to start? Are we going to be waiting? Are we going to wait for complaints? What's our plan here on enforcing this? Because our ordinances are only as good as our enforcement.
We did not address the issue of enforcement. I will note that it is added to the long list of other areas where smoking is already prohibited. Right. So if there's not been a drain on city resources thus far for all of those other areas, it might be reasonable to infer it won't be a further drain here. I did, if I may note, hear that there is a county tobacco control program that will assist in friendly enforcement strategies through education rather than through the long arm of the municipal law.
What's our plan for outreach and notifying of this?
Well, I know right now they have little signs that say you can't bring your dog to a certified farmer's market. Anybody see those signs?
Yeah.
So we asked them to make another sign, you can't smoke in the farmer's market. So I think that would be the first start.
Okay, good.
Signage, just request that.
I'd rather see a dog.
Is there anything?
Preferably one that doesn't bite.
Okay, item number 1, we're going to move forward with item number 1. Now we'll go to item number 2. You hear from item number 2 too, there, Counselor? It's concerning...
No.
You're not?
It's my understanding that this has not been yet sent out for drafting.
Yeah, this is the first.
Hearing, it goes back to council. Here's the thing I want to ask, and again, we'll have a discussion here. I think we're at a very difficult time with today's economy to put any impact on restaurants right now. But I would like to continue this item here and ask that representatives of the Restaurant Association and those of you who are the great advocates for clean air, we have a little meeting, if we would, to come up to see what we could do. I've been walking around the city or riding a bicycle around the city this summer, and I talked to shopkeepers, and because of today's economy, they are absolutely flat. And any impact that we put on them right now, sometimes they would feel it would crush them. This is just what they, on any kind of regulation, I got that when we did the sanitation fee, but when I told them we don't pick up their trash, they realized that was another obligation they had to deal with. That being said, I'd like to continue this, if it's okay, members, for 45 days. I'd like to then ask that any other people who would like to come and speak, we have a little roundtable discussion to see if what could be worked out. What drove restaurant seating outside was the original ordinance that banned smoking inside.
Can you invite somebody from Burbank too?
I don't know, man. They're suing us on a sewer line, so I don't know. Jan asked if we should invite someone from Burbank.
They're suing us.
And they're suing us on a sewer line deal, so I don't know. I'm just teasing. We could invite anybody we want, so we could do that. But I would want to have a discussion. I think the most important thing and impact on anti-smoking campaign that was successful to a start would be the commitment that Disney Corporation did, and Bob Iger, its president, that says they won't have people smoking in their pictures. Anybody see the movie Admin or TV show Admin at all on AMC? They smoke all the time. Man, like it's like Ricky and Lucy, you know. And so I'm thinking there should be some discussion, whether or not on the filming, to say, hey, look, just don't put it in there. Just don't put smoking in movies. That's not on the agenda, so I know I violated the law, and the city attorney gave me a break. But we're going to continue this 45 days. We're going to have a meeting, and I'll invite some people from the Restaurant Association to see what could be done, and also some city planners, and maybe someone from Beverly Hills or Santa Monica to see the impact of what happens. Burbank too. So, is that okay with you, Madam Hahn? Sure. Madam Perry? Okay. So we're going to continue this, but I do want input, because this is very important. Mr. Smith's representative, is that all right, Mr. Lee? I understand, but I think the prudent thing to do, to make it right for people. What happens now, if people don't smoke in bars, you know what they do? What? They go outside a bar, and they stand on the sidewalk and smoke. I'm thinking, it's unbelievable. And then the noise. Then what happens, Counselor, were you always in a work criminal branch or always in the civil branch?
6 years in Van Nuys criminal branch.
So you would know. What happens when people drink spirits usually? They talk louder, So
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
That's right. Okay, you got it there. You're a good man there, Counselor. People stand outside. Last night at 11:45, number one constituent of the 4th District kicked me out of the house to go down the hill to find out where all the, Mrs. Labange, to find out where all the noise was. And there was a nightclub that had more people that's in this room on the sidewalk smoking and joking and maybe even drinking.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I went over to Northeast Division, and they were familiar with the problem that's there. 72 Marketplace, you know where that is in Venice? Anybody know where that is?
Yes, I do.
Someone said it was a great restaurant, but when they had the smoking ban, then all of a sudden everybody goes outside smoking. And Erica, I'm not picking on you, but you're the one still in college. All these college people go outside those places and talk loud and smoke and joke right out in front. So all of a sudden the use has left the building and gone out into the public way and infected other people. I think it's a fair discussion to have, to see what planning, people have an idea what could be done. And also I think the suggestion of how to give up smoking and how to drink responsible. That sounded terrible for me to say, a slur on a word in the middle of the afternoon. I was just drinking water today, folks. I'm walking too fast.
We used to review evidence of field sobriety tests as part of our prosecution.
You got that. Good job. But maybe there's some information we could put in the dormitories or laboratories and facilities to remind people there's options to look at it.
Right.
But I think the glorification of smoking is something that impacts young people. Just like I'm against 21, lowering the drinking to 18. Some college presidents, well, I want a motion on that, Abaka, if you hear me.
And, can I just say, I that's fine. I was willing to vote on this today, but if you feel like you need to get more input, but I will say, certainly the lesser of two evils is a little bit of noise outside on a sidewalk versus breathing secondhand smoke by patrons of a restaurant or, dining area. So obviously it's an unintended consequence, but I'll take noise out on the sidewalk any day more than having to sit next to someone and breathe in that secondhand smoke. So
Mr. Lee and Mr. Ross, I know you filled out a second card.
I just want to be on the record saying that.
I got it.
Councilman Labange, our office, of course, is happy to delay this 45 days to involve the restaurant industry and everything. But at that time, number one, I hope that our office can be involved with that. And
sure, I want you there.
And at that time, I'm sure we will be able to show you a lot of evidence that businesses aren't negatively impacted by a smoking ban. And to answer Ms. Hahn's question, Councilmember Hahn's question about enforcement, which is a very good question about ordinances that we do, you'll find that, as with all of our smoking ordinances, it sort of becomes a culture of the city where we ban from restaurants, and we ban from buildings. Earlier when we were having a meeting, it was brought up,
right.
If someone lit up a cigarette in this room,
you're right.
There would be 30 of us that would be
right.
like.
So we kind of begin to self-police ourselves.
It sort of becomes part of the culture of that city. So it's excellent.
Yeah, but litter is it's something we don't want. But people still litter.
Absolutely.
And guess how many tickets LAPD issued last year? How many tickets do you think they issued for littering?
Zero.
Two. So there's some things too.
But if you ever saw someone, if you've seen somebody do it,
I don't like when they throw their butts out You know, I should get a big fat ticket for that. Mr. Ross?
Well, respectfully, certainly I can see that if having this pass would impose some kind of crippling expense on restaurant owners, that needs to be considered beforehand. And so that would make a discussion worthwhile. But the other issue, whether it's noise or other unintended consequences, in the context of something that's trying to save people's lives, this really shouldn't be an abstraction. It isn't if you've got somebody in your family who's died of it. And I think what I would encourage you to consider, Councilman Bonge, is if you're going to seek further discussion, and you're so willing, I know, to, like you say, go through, use your bike to get around, to really find out what's going on in the city, is to seek out people who've been touched by losing family members to lung cancer because of smoking. Get a sense of the impact on their families.
I got that, but also I believe everyone has a right. And it's very unfortunate for your parents. My dad died young. We came from a big family. Everybody has that experience, but I want you to be able to choose, if it's legally prescribed to be sold by the federal government, whatever you could buy at a store. I don't want to tell you what to buy or to read or how to eat, but I want to tell you if you're eating something unhealthy because it's so many calories, etc. So I got that, and there's other people who have greater challenges than all of us in this room who live in violence that is more hostile than anything we experience, and that the inequities of life is a challenge. So I'm not going to go that way to try to impose a value. In our neighborhood last night when I went out, there's a whole bunch of people on Hyperion Avenue. I don't know if people need to go out drinking after 11 o'clock on a weeknight. I don't know who goes out that late, but they do now. And all that has a consequence too. Right. So I welcome you to come to the discussion. I think we got to temper it, where every day is a blessing. And, I think sometimes, because I was in high school printing for 3 years, 4 years, that the chemicals that I used in school may affect me in my life later on. I don't know, but that was the situation that took place on that. Anyway.
That might explain something.
It might explain something, says Ms. Hunt. That's very good. All right, so you're welcome for the discussion. Thank you for your passion. I would tell you, too, to give you, and I know you, Mr. Perlman, I want you to smile a little bit more. Chances are the City Council strongly supports this concept, so you're going to see success ultimately, but we want to do it right and fair, and also to make sure if there's some compromise in some respects. Remember that, come to the microphone. Most of our dining was driven outside, and then they saw how people like eating outside. So people are outside, there's a cultural thing that changed there. And how you balance it out. Do you have a non-smoking area away 30 feet from a smoking area? Is that possible? I don't know. So I'd like to make everybody happy. Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to know if we could get some clarification on who we should meet with in terms of setting up this discussion group.
Well, I'm the chair of the committee, and Ms. Young-Ji Kim is the legislative director for the 4th District in this committee, so we'll be coordinated, and we'll keep you posted. Everybody signed in. You could, share. As long as I invite people at the table, as long as let everybody have their piece and kind of cooperate in some way, and maybe we'll meet at some restaurant sometime. And
outdoor, perhaps.
But we can't get water because the mayor took away the water. No, Mr. Mayor, we want water at our tables when we ask for it. Thank you very much. I'm teasing the mayor. No other questions? Then we're going to continue this 45 days. Correct. We'll set some meetings in the next 3 weeks. Ms. Perry, thank you very much. Thank you all. Good afternoon. Drive safely. Yeah, you too.